Back pain.
Back pain. Back pain.
Back pain.
Back pain.
Stop! Before you do another stretch for your back pain, watch what happens when I squeeze this toothpaste tube. This simple demo will show you why everything you've been taught about your back pain is wrong. Your back pain is not coming from where you think it is. Hi, I'm Elliot Sor, a doctor of physical therapy candidate and personal trainer with over 8 years of experience, and today I'm going to tell you what nobody's talking about when it comes to back pain. Raise your hand if anybody's ever told you to fix your posture to help with your back pain. Keep it there if it's worked long term. Exactly. The stretches and exercises you're doing might be making things worse. In fact, let me prove it to you with this simple can of soda. When stacked, it's incredibly strong. I can even put this 30-pound weight on top and it won't crush. But what happens when I force it into what we think is perfect posture? Suck in your stomach, raise your chest, tuck your tailbone. As you can imagine, if I try to lay the weight on top right now, it doesn't go so well. Just like this can, forcing your spine into perfect postures creates weakness, not strength. Let me share 2 fascinating things about nature that will completely shift the way you think about your body and posture. First, watch how babies and toddlers move across different cultures. Notice their natural fluid movements. They're not thinking about posture or alignment, yet their bodies move with such ease and freedom. But here's something even more interesting. Take a look at this tree trunk over here. Notice how it's almost perfectly round and cylindrical? That's not by accident. Much like this Coke can when it's filled, it's meant to support weight from top to bottom, or axial loading. And your body is designed to do the same thing. Think of your body as a natural cylinder, from your chest all the way down to your pelvis. When pressure is spread evenly through the cylinder, just like a tree trunk, it's incredibly strong. But what happens when we force our bodies into good posture? Picking our chest up, sucking our belly button to our spine? It doesn't create strength, it actually creates weakness. It's like chopping wood from both sides of a tree and expecting it to be even stronger. This is why letting your body maintain its natural roundness with even pressure from top to bottom is so much more powerful than forcing yourself into choreographed positions that compromise this natural strength. What if we could learn something from these natural examples, and instead of enforcing rigid rules about posture, allow ourselves to move how nature designed, much like these toddlers, while making sure we maintain that natural tree trunk strength through the process. Now grab your tube of toothpaste and follow along, because this demonstration will completely change the way you think about back pain. See how when I squeeze the middle, the pressure has to go somewhere? The paste bulges at both ends, right? Your spine works exactly the same way. When you tighten or brace one area, the pressure has to go somewhere. When you're forcing good posture by pulling your belly button in towards your spine and lifting your chest, the pressure doesn't disappear, it just goes somewhere else. Going back to our soda can and tree trunk analogy, we need to have a natural gradient of pressure from top to bottom. So when you choreograph good posture, like we said, pull your belly button to your spine, lift your chest, tuck your tailbone, it doesn't really matter what it is. This ruins the natural flow and distribution of pressure in your torso all the way down to your hips, negatively affecting our posture. We're gonna do a little exercise to show you what it feels like to actually restrict your breathing by choreographing your posture. Sit naturally and take 3 slow, relaxed, deep breaths through your nose, out through the mouth. Now force yourself into what you think good posture is. Shoulders back, chest up, flex your core, and try to breathe deeply again. Feel how your breathing becomes shallow and forced? That's because you're actively restricting your diaphragm, your main breathing muscle. Not only that, but you're tightening all the superficial musculature around your rib cage, which needs to be able to expand as air comes into your lungs. If the muscles are tight, the rib cage can't actually expand. This is what happens when we try to force our body into obscure, unnatural positions, rather than doing exercises and activities that enhance our ability to have our natural pressure mechanism that evolution built in place. If you found this video helpful so far, hit that like button. It helps other people find this information too. And stick around, because I'm going to be showing you exactly how to work with your body's natural design instead of against it. Let's talk about the biggest misconception when it comes to back pain: core stabilization. Everyone's obsessed with engaging the core and bracing it, right? But here's what nobody tells you. Your body isn't meant to be locked down all the time. Think about a suspension bridge. It's not rigid. It's meant to move and sway with the wind. If it were completely stiff, it would crack under pressure. Your core works the same way. When you're constantly bracing and engaging your abs, You're basically turning your spine into a rigid board. Sure, it might feel stable for a moment or while you're doing a given exercise, but you're fighting against your body's natural ability to adapt and move. Now, there is a reason for this. After an acute injury, or if you're in a flare-up of a chronic condition, it can help to make sure nothing really moves because the movement can induce pain. It can pull on certain structures and compress others. However, the spine doesn't just need to move, it's built to move. It actually loves movement. So focusing so much on just stabilizing your spine, maintaining a rigid posture with exercise, isn't the full progression. We need to progress from anti-rotation to actually being able to do real rotation without the pain. This is necessary when progressing from isolated activities in the gym, like planks and pow-off presses, to actually being able to express fitness playing sports, carrying groceries, or even playing with your kids at home. The real goal isn't to create a wall of muscle that doesn't move. It's to develop a responsive system that can react to whatever you're doing. This is why those endless planks and crutches aren't fixing your back pain. They're teaching your body to be stiff when it really needs to learn how to move freely again. And in order to move freely again, it needs to be able to go from this crushed Coke can with a ruined distribution of pressure to a full one, where each breath you take fills you up to make sure that you can handle load from top to bottom. Now that you understand why traditional posture advice and exercises given for back pain might be hurting more than helping, let me show you 3 exercises that work with your body's natural design. But before we dive in, remember, these are different. These aren't just your regular stretches or core stabilization exercises, and they have different goals. We're going to focus on creating freedom of movement and movement options rather than forcing certain arbitrary positions that could throw off your body's natural pressure distribution and the way it's designed to function. All you're gonna need for this first exercise is a foam roller, and if you don't have one, you can create a makeshift one by rolling up some towels. The purpose of this exercise is to bring your pelvis underneath your rib cage to create this nice stacked position so pressure can flow properly. You're gonna lay down on the floor with something under your head, and you're going to place the foam roller under your knees. If you put the foam roller under your knees and your back isn't relaxed and flush on the floor, what you can do is use something to prop the foam roller or the makeshift foam roller up a little bit higher so that it relaxes. Once you've found the right height that allows you to relax your lower back against the floor, you're going to make sure that your knees don't fall out. They're going to stay neutral, pointing up towards the ceiling. You're then going to take one hand and put it on your chest, and the other hand is going to go on your stomach. You're going to lightly press your knees down into the foam roller. Make sure that the knees aren't falling out. They're staying in with the knees pointing towards the sky. Without letting the butt pick up off the ground, you should feel some contraction in your hamstring and your glutes. It's going to be a fine balance between how hard you push down without letting your hips actually prop up off the floor. Remember, we want our lower back to stay relaxed the entire time and flush against the floor, but you're not forcing it into the ground by contracting your abs. Once here, you're going to look up towards the ceiling and take a slow 5-count inhale through your nose as if you're smelling some fresh baked cookies. You should feel your stomach and your chest rise at the same time. On the exhale, you're going to lightly press the knees down into the foam roller without the feet pushing down into the ground. We're going to exhale like we're softly blowing out some candles for a 5-second count with light pressure down into the foam roller. We're pressing with the knees, we're not pressing with the feet. Inhale, maintain the pressure into the foam roller. Exhale, and push a little bit harder each time. At the end of your exhale, you may feel some tension in the side portion of your abs. That's good. Try to hold on to that while you inhale. Our second exercise is going to be a progression of the first. This time, instead of pushing down with both legs, we're going to press down with one leg, and the other is going to be picked up with the knee pointing towards the ceiling. We want a 90-degree angle between the lower leg and the upper leg, and a 90-degree angle between the upper leg and your torso. Remember, we still want the lower back to be relaxed and flush against the floor, but this time our hand placement is going to be a little bit different. You're going to take the same side hand and put that onto your lower rib cage, and the other hand is going to reach up towards the ceiling and then a little bit behind you like this. This is going to challenge your core a little bit. We're going to do the same breathing sequence here. Inhale for 5 seconds through the nose. Exhale for 5 seconds through the mouth while pressing down into the foam roller with the knee. You want to make sure that both your knee and your elbow are facing up towards the sky and not falling out like this. For our last exercise, we're going to be in a tall kneeling position. If that's uncomfortable for your feet or your ankles, you can place a towel roll between your ankles and the floor. Once in this position, we're going to make sure that we have a nice stack between our ribs and our pelvis like we established in the first exercise. We're going to then look forward and imagine somebody is pulling a string from the top of our head to gently lift us up. What we're not going to do is allow our ribs to flare forward like this. We want them to stay naturally tucked. You're then going to take one arm and reach that forward as the other one gently reaches back behind you. What we don't want is our whole body to move in that same direction. We want to dissociate between our rib cage and our pelvis. So as you reach forward and backwards, your rib cage is going to rotate while your legs stay facing forward. We're going to use the same breathing pattern here. You're going to inhale for 5 seconds through the nose like you're smelling something really good. And as you exhale, you're going to gently reach forward and backwards a little bit more to get more dissociation between your rib cage and your pelvis. Each time you exhale, you should get a little bit more rotation and feel your side abs engage just a little bit more. Now you understand why working with your body instead of forcing it into these rigid positions is the key to lasting back pain relief. Remember, your body isn't broken, it's just looking for an excuse to move naturally again. Drop a comment below sharing your biggest aha moment from this video and share it with anybody else that might need this information too. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for future videos. Until then, keep moving naturally and let your body lead the way.